Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Build a Beast. We are sharing an elite coaching journey with you guys live on air. We've been tapping into all pillars of maximizing our energy day to day, whether you are needing it for personal performance, professional performance, anybody that wants to perform at an elite level in life, in business, and everything you do. We are tapping into that thanks to the resident expert we have here with us. Today, we're going to be tapping into hydration. We've shared all these different pillars that are going to be super critical as a whole, one of which is hydration. And I myself personally have previously undervalued how critical it actually is, and we're about to find out. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Build a Beast. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our star coach of the season, Sir Justin Roethlingshoefer. Hello, Sensei.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Pissed a lot this week, but I'm doing well, man.
That's what happens that first week that we start adding in all that new water. But at the same time, we start to realize, hey, like that's the toxicity that lives in my body. That's the toxicity that's being emitted. And we're able to basically flourish and function at a whole nother level. And so I'm taking you guys on a little bit of a tour today. So instead of just being stuck upstairs, we're going to be able to have a nice little tour of the whole vicinity here of kind of where we're at, but kind of going to walk around and discuss as I place you guys down at a better viewing angle so that you're not looking at my stomach. But what we're going to be doing here is we're really going to be chatting about hydration and water intake. And it's so often underappreciated as to how do you drink water? How much water is enough? How much is too much? Is water all I need? What kind of water should I be drinking? What kind of water truly hydrates me? Why do I drink all this water and I'm still thirsty at the end of the day? And Travis, I know that as you and I were speaking, that was one of the things that you had said is like, how do I know how much water to take in? How can I help build this habit in? And we're really going to take action on this today because that is where I have seen the biggest, most influential changes in people in their fitness, wellness, and performance journeys is on the hydrational intake area because it goes down to the fundamental side. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. Go over to our little trusty drawing board because when we start looking at it and we truly start thinking about it at a higher level, 75% of our body is made of what? Water. Where if we were just to deduce ourselves down, we can go upwards of 2 weeks without food, but we cannot go 5 days without water before it starts having major effects on our body, not to mention it can actually kill us. And then we start thinking, okay, what are our 3 major organs? And we're all going back to remember what's the key metric that we keep looking at that drives performance? HRV. What are the 3 key organs that drive HRV? Our lungs, our heart, and our brain. Well, when we look at this, our lungs, our heart, and our brain consist of 85% water. Now, that in and of itself, that number is staggering. When we think about 85% of what our heart, our lungs, and our brain are made up of is water. It's this, it's this, it's this. This is everything that's going into our body. And if We're outside, and I'm outside in the Florida heat. I'm losing water. If Travis, being out and about up in Colorado at altitude, he's losing water. The air is thinner. You're perspiring more. Respiration gives away water. Our sweat gives away water. Our pee gives away water. Simply breathing and talking gives away water. And so we're constantly losing it. And so without the replenishment and knowing how much we need to get in, it really starts to give us major issues. Our heart rate increases when we're dehydrated. Our blood pressure increases when we're dehydrated. Our brain starts working at a higher potentiation of stress. And what do we know about stress? It takes us from that parasympathetic to that sympathetic side, which causes major issues in the way in which we function. So when we come to this, and I know we're all about rules here and guidance, one rule, one simple rule, and this is it. Half our body weight in ounces every single day. And I know when I talked to you, Travis, about that, you're like, oh my God, there's no way I can do this. But it's very simple. We'll run off Travis. Well, Travis, you want to give everybody your weight?
Yeah, hovers like 155, 160 when things are rocking and rolling.
Well, let's just say Travis at 160. So 165 or 160 pounds divided by 2 is equal to 80, which means Travis needs 80 ounces of water per day. Now, if we were to come and look at this and go back to the way that most people function, it would be very difficult for a lot of people to have that amount of water every single day. Why? Because they're not conscious about how much they're drinking. They might go and grab one of these and, oh, perfect, I'm going to chug this down and think that, oh, I just got some water in. And then maybe later that day, they're having another bit of club soda. And, oh, I just had some more water. And then by the end of the day, they can't figure out why they're fatigued. They can't figure out why they're dehydrated. Because they're like, I had 2 bottles of water today. Well, this little guy right here, 8 ounces. This guy right here, 10 ounces. Even if you were to have a 16-ounce bottle of water, if you had a 16-ounce normal bottle of water, you had an 8, and then you had a 10, all that is 35 ounces of water. And Travis, you need 80 ounces of water. And so what I say to my clients is that there needs to be a system. You need to fall in love. And this sounds ridiculous, but you need to fall in love with a water bottle. You need to fall in love with a water bottle. And so what we do is we give all of our clients, we give them one of these. It's got Own It and Blazed on it. It's nice and big. It keeps your water nice and cold. It's a hydro flask and drinks really nice. It fits everywhere. How much is in here? 32 ounces of water. Okay, 32 ounces fits in here. So for the majority of our clients, we're saying, hey, you need to get 2 water bottles or 3 water bottles, depending on how heavy you are. And again, if we've got some clients that need 4. For those people who are at 240, 250, 260. And all of a sudden, now you have a measure. You have something to go off of. So you know when you first wake up in the morning, you fill this up. You slowly work through it. You then know at 11, you're filling it up again. At 2, you're filling it up again. So all of a sudden, you have a system, a purpose as to how this goes on. And it sounds crazy. It sounds like so simple and elementary, but it is the foundational building blocks to everything else that goes on in our body. We could, like I said, we could skip meals for a week to 10 days and really just hydrate extremely well and with the amount of water that we need, and we could still operate in an extremely high level, an extremely high rate. I'll get vulnerable with you here, guys, for a second. Is as a 13, 14-year-old kid, I had extreme body dysmorphia and was what a lot of people today would call anorexic, but it was more exercise-based. Exercise. And so outside of not eating, I was playing AAA hockey on travel teams. I was working out 2, 3, 4 times a day. I was on the football team, and I lost about 40 pounds between 12 and 14 years old, simply because of how I was operating. But I was able to maintain that and continue to do it because I was just focusing on my hydration. I was just drinking a boatload and still being able to perform. It was not good. It's not healthy, but that goes to show the importance of hydration, the importance of what we're putting into our body and getting the proper amounts in. Now, if we go and take a look at Travis's data, and this is where it gets really interesting, guys. And so you know the way that Travis and I have been working is whatever we are focusing on the next following week, that is what we really dive into Travis with. So if you take a look at Travis's HRV over the last month, actually we can even go over the last 3 months because we've got a little bit more than a month worth of data. And we take a look at this. Do you see this upward trend? And the trend continues to go upwards. It continues to go at a upward rate, all the way so that we now have an average HRV of 62. And Travis, where did our average start?
I think it was like 50 something, or
Our average started was 53.
Okay.
So we have gained 10 HRV points, 10 milliseconds, 10 variability points, which, again, what is our goal in doing all of this is to see that trajectory at an upward pace. Again, HRV is completely individualized. But as Travis has added in his intentional exercise, he's added in his sleep routine, he's added in his focus on nutrition, the 3-2-1 rule, he's added in his water, we have now seen a gain.
Oh, we lost them. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost them.
Of parasympathetic.
Oh, there we go. We lost you for a quick sec. Backtrack like maybe 15 seconds.
Oh, got it. So what I was saying was, if we take a look at where you've come from, Travis, by doing this, as you've added in your focus on your intention of one exercise, intentional exercise once per day, your 3-2-1 rule with your food and your portion sizing and your hydration, over those last 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we've gained 10 points in that HRV side, meaning that we're spending more time in the parasympathetic state, more relaxed, and thus able to sleep better, perform better, and ultimately recover better. If we look at this trend, it shows that, it proves it to us. All the way so that we've had some days that were close to 100. Like, we're getting up there to some serious work that's going in that right direction. Not to mention the impact that it's had on the quality of your sleep. Still with me?
Yeah. Yes.
So if we look here at the quality of your sleep, the difference is,
there we go.
Like, your total hours have been very similar, but look at the difference between the amount of dark blues, so these bottom two, over this last week versus where we were before. We've seen, again, an increase in that total quality of sleep. And we haven't even addressed sleep yet from habits. Take a look at this graph down here, guys. So this one right here, we're talking about light sleep, okay? These two, we're talking about slow wave and REM. That's the quality of sleep that we're getting. Light sleep, nothing happens there. Let's open it up. Do you see how that jumps back? Do you see that, Travis?
Yep.
Whereas all of a sudden, I open it up to the last week when we focus on our hydration. Look at the quality of sleep. Look how it pops forward. Just watch this. You see that? Look at the quality of sleep that's gained just simply by focusing on our hydration. Guys, it has such a massive impact on us, making sure that the quantity of hydration is taken into our body. First thing we always start with is quantity. And then the next thing goes, well, what's the best thing to drink? Is it only water? Yes and no. Yes and no. So When we're drinking water, we can have spring water. We can have club soda, just a little bit of bubbles. We can have normal water with a lot of ice and super cold, whatever it is that you like. Because again, I understand drinking 80 ounces of water for myself, drinking 93 ounces of water, it's tough. It can be hard, but there's ways in which we can do it. There's things we can add to it. We can have normal water. Okay. Awesome. We can add a little bit of fizz, okay, through club soda. Awesome. And at the end of the day, what type of water do we want to be drinking? And the answer is, have we ever heard of a pH scale?
Yes. Yeah. In the context of hot tubs.
Okay. Exactly. I love that. I love that because the pH of water is so important, like uber important, because our body is naturally acidic and our gut, our microbiome is naturally acidic. That's what burns all the food and breaks it all down and allows our body to eat it. Now, when we're drinking water, how many of us have ever had that feeling where we've grabbed water and we're just so thirsty and we're like, oh, I need more,
Yes.
I need more. But yet it doesn't satiate anything. The reason is because we're not having the proper pH. We're not having the proper alkalinity. And so ideally, we want to be drinking water that is in that, what happened to my Zoom here? Oh, there we go. We want to be drinking water that is, go back to my shared screen, on the pH scale, that is, so we got 7 that's neutral, okay, right here in the beginning. 7 pH is neutral. We've got anything on this side of it is acidic. Anything on this side is basic. We want to be drinking water that is somewhere in that 7.5 to 8.5 range. Now it's awesome. Like, Justin, how do we do that? Well, if you've ever heard of Smart Water, Smart Water does this really, really well, changing the pH to drink alkaline-based water. Okay, alkaline-based water. If we were talking about the best water we can drink, alkaline, room temperature. It's going to be easy on the stomach. It's going to be soothing. It's going to quench the thirst. Okay, alkaline-based water. Now, how do we make our own alkaline-based water? We can take baking soda, take about a teaspoon, okay, put it in to about 32 ounces of water, shake it up, and boom, away we go. Great way to make your water a little bit alkaline in that 7.5 to 8.5 range. And it's going to quench your thirst better. It's going to optimize the way in which you feel that thirst, feeling quenched. And it's also going to stay in your body longer. Okay? Super, super important. The other thing that we can start to do when we think about this is electrolytes. Magnesium, potassium, sodium. Now, why do these matter? Let's start with sodium. Sodium is in our body, and every time we sweat, we actually sweat a massive amount of salt. Okay? Massive amount of salt. Potassium actually does 3 things in our body that are super, super important when we think about this. When we're sleeping, if we are having a hard time falling asleep, a hard time staying asleep, that is an immediate sign that we have some type of potassium deficiency. If we fall asleep in the middle of the night, wake up, potassium deficiency, first thing to know, okay? So that is why potassium is so, so important. Magnesium is involved, and again, this is going back to sleep, because we know the number one thing in creating longevity and long-term health is sleep. Magnesium, when we get talking about it, is involved in over 300 processes within the body, okay? And the number one thing it does is it helps our body deal with stress. Anytime that we go from that parasympathetic to that sympathetic side, it's pulling magnesium. pulling magnesium to soothe us, to ease us, okay?
Mm.
And so 95% of us are magnesium deficient. Now, magnesium is a cofactor in the creation of melatonin, which obviously helps us sleep, calm down, and get into that sleep. So magnesium is super important to put into our water. So if we are looking for a supplement or something to flavor our water with, we don't go with Mio, we don't go with Crystal Light, we don't go with some type of product that just squeezes into our water that has like neon blue or code red or cofactor 10. Like any of these things in the back on the label, it's like, get rid of those yesterday. But we go after something that has magnesium, potassium, and sodium. And there's a product out there I love. I don't get anything for this. I just love this product. It's called Protect. Protect or Toket, something like that, but Protect. Okay. And it has this in 10:5:2 ratios, which is absolutely perfect for the way in which our body utilizes it. Now you can utilize this in probably 2 to 3 times a day as something to help drink to hit, for you, Travis, your 80 ounces of water. So if you put this in maybe half of it, 40 ounces of water, put it in one of these guys, and that's what you drank, and then the other one was just water, and then maybe you grab one of these to have a club soda if you wanted something sparkly throughout the day to kind of quench your thirst a little bit more, great. And that's how ultimately you build this in to be super, super effective. You've got your pH of 7.5 to 8.5. You've added in your magnesium, sodium, potassium, and now you have the proper amount of water to optimize that thirst in the way in which you're feeling and quench it in a really optimal way. Now, the reason that we don't want to take magnesium supplements through a pill is because guess what happens with magnesium? Magnesium is pulled up into the gut, absorbed through the intestine, and then when we put magnesium into our body, it upregulates and pulls in water. So in other words, diarrhea. Massive, massive amounts of diarrhea can happen when you take magnesium supplements orally. So you want to take magnesium in a powder that's combined with potassium and sodium, or have a topical magnesium, which is called EASE, EASE. Really, really great ways to utilize that.
Brilliant. And what was the Protect? That's one that I can share with y'all.
Protekt. It's called protectproducts.com. Yeah. And so they've got like lip balms and all this stuff for like very outdoorsy, but their hydrational products are on point and money. Really, really great to make sure that that can really truly enhance what it is that you're doing. So when we're talking about hydration, again, one thing, one focus point, half your body weight in ounces. Okay, half your body weight in ounces. If you can do that one thing, get half your body weight in ounces of water per day, you are going to be so much more hydrated, so much more enhanced throughout the day in the way in which your brain thinks, in the way in which your body functions. HRV is going to be lower. Your body is going to run cleaner and smoother. And then if we enhance our body and enhance our water to the pH that's at 7.5 to 8.5 with a little bit of baking soda, or drink alkaline water to begin with, and then we're adding in magnesium, sodium, potassium, we are going to be in a world of a better position in making sure that this can happen.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
And again, we saw that the data doesn't lie. In terms of what we see in yours, Travis, we see a change in the way in which you're sleeping. We see a way in the change of your overall recovery. And we see a change in your HRV. All on the upward trend, all hitting PRs in the last week when that was our major focus point. Even though you're still not there to the nth degree, it's it's getting ourselves closer and closer to that point, and it's an iterative state in which we're starting to. If we aren't tracking how much water we have, or we don't have any idea, then that's when we start to get lost, because you start having 2 of these and you think you've done everything really well, but you're getting 20% of the water you're supposed to be getting in a day.
Wow. Yeah, no, the secondary sources I think help a lot. I hadn't even realized. Yeah, I snag like those sparkling waters every once in a while. That's an easy win to kind of supplement it. And I think a few other people were mentioning similar products.
And it's just making sure that what you are drinking is calorie free, sugar free. It's just water. You either want to be drinking water itself and adding anything to it yourself, be it that magnesium, potassium, sodium, branched chain amino acid powder, a little bit of soda, or going for something that is just infused with bubbles, be it that you've maybe got a soda stream at your home that you're making your own soda water with. Maybe it's that you're doing it, getting club soda from the grocery store or whatever it may be, but just sticking to that water and then adding everything yourself and making sure that you have something like this, something that is of 30, 40 milliliters that you can track, that you can know, hey, you're hitting it. Exactly. I know. And now you know exactly what you have to hit throughout the day, and you have the way to track. It's just like if you are, it goes right back to what we talked about from our nutrition, that 3-2-1-0 rule. If you're just going by the seat of your pants and you're grabbing the Cheetos and you're grabbing a bunch of food, piling it up on your plate, you have no idea what is truly being applied. You have no idea what's truly what you're taking in nutritionally. But when you have a guide, when you have a focus, when you have an attention, when you have a clarity of where you're going, you can make all the decisions that you want that are much more focused and much more purposeful and directed in the direction of which you want to go.
Brilliant. So I have a personal question then. I know there was a few others we can grab here as well. If anybody here that's hanging with us, feel free to drop any questions or kind of your personal situation or anything in that realm, and we'll tackle it here before the end. But in the context of electrolytes and rehydrating, there's this shenanigans that I've called a scam of like this IV like therapy and like hydration based marketing and products that are, to me, I just think they're all bullshit. But I'd love to hear from your world. Is there validity to this? Is this just overpriced Gatorade, or like what's the situation on these IV products and hydration products and an industry emerging around said things?
Totally. So and again, remember what I said at the beginning, everything is a tool. And I love every tool. I'm tool agnostic, as you'll say.
Sure.
But I'm not a fan of every tool for everybody as the end solution all the time. Travis, if you were to go out and ski all day, get your hydration in, have your magnesium, potassium, sodium, get your water in, get your half your body weight, there would never be a purpose to regularly get an IV drip. Unless we go back to your DNA test, which we're going to go over here in a couple, 3-4 weeks.
Yes.
For our DNA episode. But unless there is something that is genetically preventing you from absorbing, uptaking, metabolizing the vitamins, minerals, electrolytes that you're taking in through your water on a regular basis, then there's no need to get something like that regularly. The beauty about getting those IVs, about getting the drips, about getting the vitamin baggies, vitamin saline, is that it goes directly, immediately into your bloodstream, and it's immediately uptaken and regulated. Now, if you were to go and run a marathon in the heat, outside, at altitude, there's no way that you can get the water in, the electrolyte replacement in that you would need, and thus something like that, really, really great. If you've been sick and you've been having diarrhea, you've been throwing up, you've been sweating, you've been losing massive amounts of water and all vitamins, minerals, they're absolutely awesome. 100%, you're going to feel a huge boost. But from a regular day basis, again, what happens if you get 150% of your needed vitamin C in a day?
You piss it out.
It's just really expensive urine is all it is. I mean, think about it. If someone goes, if somebody's saying to you, we have a vitamin saline that has 200% of your daily needs of vitamins and minerals, go, fantastic, give me half. I mean, yeah, because otherwise you're taking, okay, great. It's like saying, I'm going to give you 300% of your daily needed protein. Okay, awesome. But the rest is just going to get processed through my kidneys and be really super hard on my body. I just need what I need. Like if someone wants to say to you, hey, I'm going to give you 300% of your daily calorical intake needs. I'm good. Thanks. Like you don't need it. It goes back to that culture of more is always better. And that's not exactly what we need. And so that's where it really comes down to the getting those salines. Again, extreme heat, extreme event, sickness, every once in a while, like once a month, once every few months as like a tune-up. You know you're feeling off. Maybe you haven't been able to get your hydration in over the course of the week. You just know you've been bad. It can kickstart things. But it all comes down to the habit of half your body weight in ounces, magnesium, potassium, sodium in that 10-5-2 ratio, branched chain amino acids, and get the water in every day. You don't need anything else. You really don't.
Perfect. Well, we have some questions in the chat from our local legend, Tommy. He's known to always load up some brilliant questions. And here we have another. I know you have a pretty clear system on this one. But yeah, so what is the situation for alcoholic beverages? What is this do for our hydration? How do we integrate this into our lifestyle without just being a straight edge hydro homie for the rest of our lives? How do we have some fun while staying healthy?
So here's the thing I love about this question is, I mean, coffee and alcohol both are diuretics. They both dehydrate you, and they're both great to partake in. I'm very vocal about the fact that I'm not sober. And what I mean by that is that I enjoy wine. Like Elise and I do the weekly wine down.
Yes.
Simply to show that alcohol can be a healthy part of our lifestyle while still ensuring that things are looked after and operating at a very elite level. And so anytime you take an alcohol, you want to make sure that for every 8-ounce drink, so every normal cocktail that you're having or every glass of wine or whatever it is, that you're equaling it and matching it with one 8-ounce glass of water. And so whether that's that you have a glass of wine and then you down and chug a glass of water and then go for your second, no problem. But making sure that you are balancing that out again. And then the next day, making sure that you are going over into your half your body weight in ounces, your magnesium, potassium, sodium, and ensure that you're getting that in. If you are so consistent with that, then one night out, not going to throw you off. Go in and grabbing, alternating with your waters, not even going to really is not even going to make that big of an impact. And we saw on your data the night that you drank what happened to your HRV. It plummeted, but you had the habits that the very next day they shot right back up. And so that's what it's all about, is making sure that it's not something that's repetitive, but rather it's something that you can go and engage in, and all your habits that you're stacking, everything else is going to help perpetuate you and propel you forward in the way in which it needs to be done. So that is the great one. Anytime that you're having a beverage, you want to make sure, again, clear is always better. Your tequilas, your vodkas, from a calorical standpoint, again, don't mix it with sugars. Don't mix it with orange juices. Don't mix it with apple juices. Don't mix it with any funky juices. Keep it with sodium locked club soda. Keep it with, you're going to go with your Moscow Mules, throw in a diet ginger beer or something like that, that, again, is just the clearer, the better. And making sure you're mixing it with the water every now and then is going to keep you in a better shape, better condition from a hydration standpoint.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, there you go, Tommy. Thank you for the question. And thank you for the donation you snuck in there as well. Was not expecting that this show, but thank you, sir. So yeah, I think that this simplified theory you've put forth, I mean, that's really what has given me the ability to convert this from theory to action. Like, it's very easy to watch YouTube videos and read books and overload the equation with complexity. But these simple rules, like, yeah, half your body weight in ounces in water is simple. I know it's about 2 of these, and that's like, I'm not quite there where it feels like habit. It definitely feels like a challenge, and like intentionally gotta push for it to happen. But that simplicity is where it's been at for me, is being able to have those simple lanes to operate within while still staying flexible day to day, week to week. So yeah, appreciate yet another huge massive topic simplified down to a few key rules. So yeah, that's been a big win in my book, to have flexibility while also having those guided lanes just carved out right there for me.
No, exactly. It's all about having the boundaries. It's all about having the very select, tangible, actionable steps that you can take, that you can go and execute on, because then it's all about, hey, did I do it or did I not do it? It doesn't need to be complex. It doesn't need to be overthought about. Let's remember this: complexity kills dreams, baby.
I believe it. I believe it. Well, that's it. I guess if anybody wants to try and sneak in a question here, I see a few people joining late on LinkedIn. Feel free to try and throw it in here. Otherwise, that was another episode of our brilliant show. Hey, Vanessa, thank you for joining. We are just wrapping up, unless anybody has a specific scenario or something to unpack. We can utilize these last couple minutes, but
yeah, your actionable steps, guys, for this week is half your body weight in ounces, magnesium, potassium, sodium, implemented into in some form of powder. Protect supplements, protect products.com was a way in which you can get those, a real high quality product if you're looking for that. And make sure that your water's clear. Make sure that you're getting half that body weight in ounces. That's where you want to stick to, and see the way you feel. Take an inventory. We're slowly habit stacking here over the course of these 8 weeks together, and away we go.
Love it. Perfect. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You have your homework for the next week if you've been joining the journey. Exactly like Margot just has. Margot was just asking about her Whoop band and getting in on some metrics. So yeah, maybe we will have something where we can roast people's metrics. You can share your data. I kind of had that my first weeks coming on air. So yeah, anybody that wants to join the journey, let us know. We'll hook you up with one of these thingies and get you looped into Justin's world, so you can share this journey with us. But as of right now, that is it. You guys have your homework. We will be checking in next week for another episode of Build a Beast. Take care, guys.